Today, we're unlocking the fascinating science of how your brain is not fixed, but constantly rewiring itself, building new pathways every time you learn something new. You'll discover the proven, research-backed strategies that boost learning speed, strengthen memory, and make recall almost effortless. Whether you're a student aiming for top grades, a professional upgrading your skills, or a lifelong learner curious about how the mind works, this session will give you the tools to study smarter, think sharper, and remember longer. Let's dive in and start transforming the way your brain learns.
Neuroplasticity is your brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself, constantly forming, strengthening, and even pruning connections between its billions of neurons. Every time you learn a new skill, recall a memory, or practice a habit, your brain reshapes its own circuitry, making those pathways faster and more efficient. This incredible adaptability isn't limited to childhood. It lasts a lifetime. It's how you can master a new language at 50, pick up a musical instrument after retirement, or recover cognitive abilities after injury. Neuroplasticity is proof that your brain is not a static organ. It's a living, ever-changing network built to grow with you.
Whether you're in science, law, engineering, or the arts, one thing is certain: you're constantly faced with the challenge of absorbing, understanding, and mastering massive amounts of information. It can feel overwhelming, unless you know how to work with your brain's natural design. By harnessing the power of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt and rewire itself, and combining it with proven science-backed learning techniques, you can transform that challenge into a powerful opportunity. Instead of just cramming facts, you'll build deep, lasting knowledge, recall it faster, and apply it with confidence in any situation. With the right approach, your brain becomes your greatest tool, not your biggest obstacle.
Every time you recall information, you're not just remembering it, you're reinforcing it. Like tightening the threads of a rope, each retrieval strengthens the neural wiring that stores that knowledge, making it easier and faster to access next time. Learning something new sparks the creation of fresh synapses, the tiny junctions where neurons communicate. These are your brain's building blocks for memory and skill. But here's the catch: unused connections don't stick around forever. They weaken, fade, and eventually disappear in a process called synaptic pruning. That's why regular retrieval, actively bringing information back to mind, isn't optional. It's the secret to keeping your knowledge alive, sharp, and ready when you need it most.
These 5 strategies, spaced repetition, active recall, interleaving, dual coding, and encoding specificity, aren't just study tips. They're the heavyweights of cognitive science. Backed by decades of research, they tap directly into how your brain naturally learns and stores information. Spaced repetition helps you review material at just the right intervals to lock it into long-term memory. Active recall forces your brain to retrieve information, strengthening those neural pathways every time. Interleaving mixes up topics and problem types, training your brain to adapt and think flexibly. Dual coding combines words with visuals, doubling the number of mental cues your brain can use. And encoding specificity ensures you learn in a way that mirrors how you'll need to remember it later. Master these 5 techniques, and you don't just remember more. You recall it faster, retain it longer, and apply it more effectively in any field of study or work. Spaced repetition is like strength training for your brain. Instead of cramming information all at once, you revisit it at carefully timed intervals, just when you're on the verge of forgetting it. This timing forces your brain to work harder to retrieve the information, and that effort is exactly what strengthens your memory over time.
Each recall session reinforces the neural pathways that store that knowledge, making them stronger and more efficient, just like repeated workouts build muscle. Over days, weeks, and months, these pathways become so well established that recalling the information feels almost effortless. With spaced repetition, you're not just memorizing, you're building mental endurance that lasts.
Active recall flips the script on traditional studying. Instead of passively reviewing notes or rereading a textbook, you actively challenge your brain to bring the information back from memory without looking at the source. This mental effort is where the magic happens. Each time you struggle a little to recall an answer, your brain strengthens the neural pathways that store it, making that memory more durable and easier to access in the future. Over time, this practice doesn't just improve retention, it trains your mind for lightning-fast retrieval when it matters most, whether in an exam hall, a meeting, or real-life problem-solving.
When you merge spaced repetition with active recall, you create a high-efficiency learning system. Flashcards, quizzes, and teaching others make this effortless.
This plan is designed to keep your brain actively engaged every single day, feeding it just the right amount of challenge to spark learning without overwhelm. Daily practice keeps information fresh in your mind, while weekly reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways that store it, layer by layer, connection by connection. Over time, this consistent cycle makes your knowledge so deeply embedded that forgetting becomes almost impossible. It's not just studying, it's building a mental archive you can access instantly, anytime you need it.
Sleep is when your brain does its most important behind-the-scenes work. As you rest, your brain consolidates the day's learning, strengthening connections, sorting information, and transferring it into long-term memory. Without quality sleep, much of what you studied simply won't stick. But sleep isn't the only factor. Regular breaks give your mind the breathing space it needs to process and refresh. Movement, whether it's a short walk, stretching, or a quick workout, boosts blood flow and oxygen to the brain, sharpening focus. And healthy fuel, from nutrient-rich foods to proper hydration, keeps your mental engine running smoothly. Together, these habits create the perfect environment for peak brain performance, so you can learn faster, remember more, and think at your best.
Your brain is not fixed, it's a living, adaptable powerhouse. Every single day, it can grow stronger, sharper, and faster. All it needs is the right kind of challenge. Train it with intention, push it with new ideas, and watch as it rewires itself, forming powerful connections that make learning easier and thinking clearer. Follow @StudyNeuro for science-backed brain-boosting tips, high-yield case quizzes, and learning strategies rooted in neuroscience. Because your brain deserves more than just practice. It deserves precision. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Keep your neurons firing and take control of your brain's evolution, one connection at a time.